The Lamy 59 is the brushed stainless steel predecessor to the Lamy CP1, and we'll do a direct comparison of those two models in just a moment. The bottom finial is slightly smaller than the rest of the pen body, and it's separated from the pen barrel with a small plastic ring. The very bottom of it is flat, matching the top finial. And then we have a polished metal clip which has Lamy engraved on the side. It's spring-loaded and easy to actuate from the top. And underneath the clip, we do have a small hole. That's unique to this model. We don't see that on many modern fountain pens. The cap is straight all the way down and free of any other markings, and it's flush to the barrel. It is a pull-off cap, which reveals a Lamy Safari style nib. However, this one does not have any markings on it. And on the back, we have a typical Lamy feed. The section is fairly short and it's made out of a black plastic that contrasts the rest of the pen body. It has grooves which give you nice grip. There's then a slight step up to the barrel, and the barrel is perfectly straight to that back finial piece. In the hand, the pen is lightweight and well balanced. Though the grip is maybe a little bit thin for a fountain pen, it feels fairly similar to writing with a number 2 pencil. And the cap posts securely with a positive click, but not very deeply. I find that it makes the pen quite long and somewhat back-weighted, to the point that I'll shift my grip a little bit further back onto the barrel to help maintain balance. In terms of size comparisons, here's the Lamy 59, a typical Pilot G2 rollerball pen, and your standard Sharpie. Before we get into the disassembly of the Lamy 59, I wanted to take a moment here to compare it with 2 other pen models. Up top, we have the Lamy CP1, which is the current production version of the Lamy 59. It's only offered in a matte black finish with a brushed stainless steel clip, whereas the Lamy 59 has a brushed stainless steel body with a polished steel clip. And down below, we have the Lamy Studio in brushed stainless steel. I wanted to compare it with the Lamy 59 because both pens have fairly similar finishes. However, in a direct comparison, we can see the Lamy 59's brushing is a little bit deeper than that of the Studio. The Studio has a more shiny appearance. The Studio also has a polished stainless steel clip. However, this one is a bent metal clip that ends in a propeller shape, whereas the Lamy 59 has a spring-loaded stainless steel clip. Also, the Studio is significantly wider and longer than either of the other models. Let's take a look at these pens uncapped. Uncapped, we can see all 3 pens use the same standard Lamy stainless steel nib. The CP1 and the 59 have identical grip sections, and their overall lengths and widths are the same. The Studio, on the other hand, has a tapering grip section that's a rubberized finish, and the Studio is longer and wider than the other 2. Let's take a look at these pens posted. All 3 caps post securely with a positive click. The Lamy Studio is by far the deepest poster of the bunch, and for that reason, in this view, the Lamy Studio is the shortest. The CP1 and the 59 are identical, and to help prove that the CP1 is the modern version of the Lamy 59, I'll show you that the caps are swappable. To fully disassemble the Lamy 59, all you need is some gripping material and a piece of Scotch tape. The cap pulls right off, and if we take a look inside, we can see there is a cap liner. However, that one is captured by leaf springs inside the cap, so I'm not going to remove it. For cleaning, I would just recommend flushing this with warm water, maybe even soaking it with some soap. The section unscrews from the barrel, and that's it for the barrel. Inside we see a Lamy converter. I purchased this one aftermarket. This pen just came with a cartridge, and that pulls right off. And then we have the section with the nib and feed. Unlike the CP1, the feed is pretty easy to remove. Grab it with some grippy materials and pull out. And then that's it for our section. And here we can see our nib and feed. This nib again is common to the Lamy Safari style that's produced currently today. Put some Scotch tape over the top and give it a pull. And at this point, the pen is fully disassembled. To reassemble, let's start with the nib and feed. If we look closely on the nib, there are two fins which line up to rails on the feed. All you need to do is slide those in place. Perfect. Then if we grab our section, we can see there is a channel at the bottom of this feed. That's going to line up to ribs that are on this section. It's a little hard to see. Let me pull in some LED lighting to help. See those two rails at the bottom? That lines up to these two grooves. If you're not sure if you have it lined up properly, you'll find it's a lot easier to slide this in if it's lined up properly. If it's not, you're going to be really pushing hard, and that should be a key that you don't have it aligned right. The converter pushes right in, and then our barrel screws on that assembly, followed by the cap. And now we're ready to ink up. Inking up the Lamy 59, today I selected Waterman Serenity Blue, which is a nice saturated blue ink that's well behaving and safe to use on vintage pens. I'm going to take the cap off the bottle and tip it on one of its facets because I am getting a little bit low. Take the cap off the pen, remove the back barrel. Make sure the piston on the converter is extended all the way down, which it is in this case. Submerge the nib into ink and screw up the converter. In order to get a full fill, I'm going to extend the piston one more time and then draw it back up. That looks like a nice full fill. I'll go ahead, wipe off the excess ink. Unlike other ribbed sections, this one doesn't seem to cling to ink, so that's a nice thing to find. Cap up our bottle so we don't have a big mess. Put our barrel back on the pen, followed by the cap. And we're ready to write. Okay, writing with the Lamy 59, cap pulls off. And today we are writing with a nib that I believe is a fine, however, it doesn't have any markings on it. And it is stainless steel. And it is a very nicely tuned nib. It has just a hint of feedback, but it's very smooth, a reliable writer, and very well tuned. Our ink. Waterman Serenity Blue. For flex, I'll turn the page. That hard start was just me. I didn't have the nib at the right angle. But no real line variation to have with this nib, which isn't surprising for stainless steel nibs, especially Lamy stainless steels. But we do push out a little bit of extra ink. And for reverse writing, it's actually very smooth. And the feed kept up just fine. So in a pinch, if you need a thinner line, you could certainly reverse write with this pen. So what do I think of the Lamy 59? I really like this pen. I like the brushed metal finish. I'm a fan of metal pens in general, and this one really speaks to me. And I was a pretty big fan of the Lamy CP1, which again is the modern day take on the Lamy 59. Having this pen in my collection makes me kind of wish that the Lamy CP1 was offered in multiple finishes. Maybe not necessarily the brushed stainless steel, but other colors would be a welcomed addition. The pen is very easy for note-taking. The cap pulls right off, but it is a very secure capping mechanism where I don't feel like it's going to come off in my pocket. It's a comfortable pen to write with, provided that you enjoy thin fountain pens, because this one does feel a bit like writing with a number 2 pencil. In terms of areas where this pen could maybe be improved, I do have a few. Probably the most major one would be the posting of this cap. It posts securely with a positive click, but it slightly backweights the pen and it makes the pen quite long. So I don't consider this one a great poster. Personally, I don't post my pens very often, so it's not a deal breaker for me, but I could see that being an issue for some people. And then the other issue that I have with this pen would be this clip. It's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, and that's an issue that I've found on pretty much all of Lamy's brushed stainless steel pens. They tend to use this polished style clip. Not only is it a fingerprint magnet, but you can see over the years, I did get this one secondhand, it got scuffed up pretty well. And unfortunately, I don't think that that's unusual for this pen. It looks like it would easily get scratched. But besides that, I think that it's quite a handsome pen, a minimalist design that really speaks to the Lamy style. And if you're a fan of the modern CP1, this is a nice one to hunt down because it is in a different material, writes extremely reliably, and is just a unique pen to have. So that just leaves me to say, thank you for watching.